Happy belated birthday, Aries. I hope you had a really great time, and thank you for all your beautiful comments and happy birthdays. I also had my birthday during this time of weirdness, so I hope you had a wonderful birthday, even if it probably wasn't as exciting as other birthdays, but I do hope that all your finest wishes and dreams are coming true for your next astrological year. And speaking of things coming true for you, I see this month for you a huge level of confidence, a boost in your self-esteem, in your courage to maybe speak upon something, speak up about something, or share an idea or a concept that it might have been a bit weird for you to discuss or talk about before, or maybe you were worried about opening up and sharing something before. It all changes this month. As I said, the confidence is coming in, and you are going to write, you are going to speak, you are going to get stuck in and make sure somebody hears the important things perhaps that you really need to talk about or really need to share. So why is all of this happening, Aries? Well, let's get to it. Let's do what we always do, my love. We're going to shuffle the cards, the post-birthday cards, and wait for all the right ones to come along. And in the meantime, we'll talk about this energy. So why is it happening? Well, let's begin with the sun. The sun starts in your second house, in there with Mercury. Uranus is also in there in Taurus, as the first card turned itself over but didn't top out. And there has been a lot of deep thought, a lot of deep thinking about perhaps what's meaningful in your life. What is it that you value? You're looking for grounding, looking for solidity, and I do believe you're going to find that. You're looking certainly for more confidence, for the will to push ahead with something perhaps, or the will, as I said earlier, to express something and not to let it get lost in translation. Maybe there's somebody you need to talk to or talk about a subject, and again you're saying, I need some clarity here before I get in and have that conversation or discuss that certain thing. So a great level of thought is going into this at the start of the month, where you're building up the confidence to do that. Now with the sun in there also, I see some of you getting a little bit of confidence maybe to take a few risks with your money, being a bit creative in an area that can make you money also. So within your job perhaps, or maybe you have a side business or something else going on, you sell something online on Etsy or whatever, there's a feeling of let's be more creative, let's put more heart and passion and something special, a bit of brilliance into this, and I can make some money out of that. So creative risks and putting a lot of heart and love into something, perhaps that will generate more money. You know, taking risks, and I can't advise this, you know, of course you speak to a professional first. Taking a few risks with your finances, maybe thinking of investing, thinking of, not huge, it doesn't have to be huge investments, Aries, just putting a few coin aside every month into a little side thing that generates income as it kind of sits there and grows. You know, it does, again, as I said, it doesn't have to be a huge amount of money, but you're thinking of creative ways to make money. And certainly things like stocks or currencies or small investments and things like that will definitely be on many of your minds, that's for sure, because you've a real need, I feel, at the start of the month. It's like, I need to get clarity. Also, I need to be relevant. I need to be up to date. I need to know what's going on out there, that I can make money. You know, if I'm going to put my finger in a few different pies here, are they up to date? Are they relevant? Are they going to generate income? Are they going to be worth the connection, worth the effort? So for many of you, that's going on. I see a lot of you, when it comes to work, to wanting to be much more organized than before. So a lot of your brain power is going in to being very streamlined and structured. Maybe you're approaching your job in a whole new way. You're saying, no, I need the right tools, the right equipment. I need to have a timeline of work. I need to manage my day a little bit better so I can bring some new and brilliant ideas out. Perhaps the more organized I am, the more I can get ahead, perhaps with some great idea I have. So that's really, really nice energy going on there. This card hopped out then. Then the energy starts moving into Gemini, and this is where it gets important, Aries, for you. Gemini is good energy for you, good positive energy. The sun goes in there on May 20th. Mercury moves in there on what date? May 11th. The new moon there on May 22nd. Venus is in there, and she's going retrograde this month. But we've also got the North Node of Destiny moving into Gemini, and this is where everything changes. This is where we go back to the intro and talk about this thing of being able to express yourself better, having an idea and not being afraid to run with it, perhaps. We've got Venus squaring off against Neptune this month, and it could be this thing of getting over a fear of doing something new in business, getting over a fear of studying something, upgrading your skills, becoming more relevant, getting over a fear of handling social media. Maybe that's a new way to handle your business. And there's this thing of, I must get over the fear of this, or I must get over this thing of, I'm losing something by, playing to the crowd a little bit. So you're getting over some fear of that. Now, other things that I want you to be aware of, it may not be relevant to everyone, but I'll go there for some of you. If you feel like a real issue, like, I really want to do something, but I'm terrified of doing it, and you're having a conflict about that, then this is a moment to push through this month and get over that fear. I want to do something new in my business, but I'm terrified it will fail. I want to change something up with the work that I do, but I'm terrified that I'll get it all wrong and, excuse my language, but fuck it up, You've really got to work on this now, Aries, and you will, because Mars moves into Pisces, into your 12th house. On what date? May 13th. And he's helping you get over some fear. He's saying, come on, we got to dig in, we got to get rooted in at this and pull out all the reasons why you're afraid to communicate something. You're afraid to maybe try something new within your career. You're afraid of saying something to somebody in a certain way. There's a feeling this month of you saying, people aren't going to understand the meaning behind what I'm trying to do. They're not going to understand what I'm saying. For many of you, I feel this thing of being lost in translation. But I was going down a different route too. I do feel for some of you, if somebody is taking your word, or maybe taking something that you've written on social media, taking something that you've expressed an opinion upon, and they're kind of holding it against you, and they're saying, remember, I've got something over you. Now, this will not relate to every Aries, but if it's you, Aries, get through this. Do not let anybody hold something over you because maybe they're digging in to a past communication, or going through your old Twitter, or going through something old and pulling out something which says, oh, you're a hypocrite because this is what you said here, or, you're saying this, but look, I dug up something from years ago and it says this. If that's happening, don't ever let anybody hold something you've said or you've written or you've expressed in privacy to somebody. Don't ever let anybody hold that against you. If it's a thing where you're with a group of friends or whatever, or a group of people, and you have unfortunately maybe said something, you thought it was going to stay in private, but it turns out that somebody else now is holding that over you, bring it out, Aries. Be open, be honest, put your hand up and say, listen, I really messed up. I messed up a while ago. I said something. I said it in privacy. I was stupid. I was dumb. It was a wrong thing to say. And get it out there. Go straight to the person and say, I apologize. Again, this thing, you are never, ever to allow anybody kind of have one over on you, feeling like they have you in their pocket because if you don't do X, Y, and Z, I'm going to tell that person what you said about them, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to reveal a secret about you, and I'm going to tell lots of people. It makes my blood boil because the energy is so strong for something like that to happen. Aries, straight out the gate, go in, straight to the horse's mouth, straight to whoever it is that could be offended by whatever this thing is, and say, listen, I fucked up, excuse my language, I messed up. And I need to apologize. So I'm really pushing that. Again, it may not be relevant to everybody here, but for those where this matters, act on it immediately, and don't let anybody have that level of controlling you through fear also. It's amazing, Aries, who's very upfront, straight up, shoot from the hip type of thing. It's amazing that sometimes even somebody like an Aries can get caught up in a tricky situation, or somebody who plays very weird or dirty games. But again, luckily in some cases that it is you, because you should be the first one to handle it. Never, ever, ever let that type of gossipy thing. I also feel for some of you, do not allow this aura or atmosphere in your world this month. Again, it's only as a precaution, I'm telling you this. Do not allow, people who are giving you wrong vibes. Don't allow them in your world. Don't talk to them. Don't communicate with them. You're going to be having to trust your intuition here. If there's a person there and they're all smiling and they're all nice and how can I be your friend? If they're doing that shit, but yet something in you is saying, I don't know what it is, but they want me to really trust them. They want me to be their BFF. They want me to reveal things and be open and candid, and they want that. But Aries, trust your gut, because what these tricky people could be doing is looking for info from you. Info. Yeah. Digging. Be careful of those who are digging in and wanting your opinion on something. Put it like this, Aries. Don't tell anybody anything this month that you wouldn't happily tell every single person that you know. There are no secrets this month because there is too much trickiness around the people this month. So just be cautious of that. Keep your own counsel and mind yourself. But pushing that aside, because that was quite a weird moment, but of course I do have to warn you of that vibe, just so that you don't get stumbling into it. But it's such powerful and positive energy as all of this stuff moves in to the third house. Communicating clearly, maybe learning something new, learning a language or brushing up some language skills, going to night classes. Some of you even really looking at your communication devices, phone, cell phone, laptop, software that you use, or whatever it is, and saying, I need to be more relevant and more up to date. And maybe I need to invest a few coin and get a new cell phone. Yeah. Venus retrograde and kind of saying, maybe I should, some regrets there, maybe I should have spent extra money and bought a better computer system or a better laptop or a better something. You don't have regrets like that. Just do what you can do this month, Aries, because it is very positive. That's the good thing. It's all very positive. But certainly positive communication that could potentially even bring you success in the workplace. That's also happening. I feel a shift with you, Aries. It's like you're changing up how you maybe even present yourself in the workplace. Changing up. Okay, this is a weird thing. It's like, I've served my time. I've been biding my time. Now it's time for me to speak up in the workplace, or maybe promote myself further in the workplace. Maybe, get connected to people, get kind of tied in with relevant people so that I'm able to promote myself, so that I'm able to push through. That was a weird moment. It was kind of like, I've been biding my time. Now it's time for me to shoot forward. Now it's time for me to speak up. Now it's time for me to make the right connections. Okay. Here's a little tricky card. When the Magician is reversed, sometimes it can be, somebody with a double tongue saying one thing to you and one thing to another. Again, Aries, once you've the heads up, you won't fall for that. Again, keep your own counsel, no matter how trustworthy, unless of course it's a professional counsellor, now excluding that. But no matter how trustworthy, if somebody pulls you aside in the office, or somebody pulls you aside in a group setting, or sits you into a corner and says, here, have a drink, let's talk about something. And if it starts, again, Aries, just to make this super clear, if it goes down territory where if you wouldn't say it to everybody, then don't say it at all. Somebody fishing, that's what I feel, fishing for information. Sorry, that card came out there. That card came out there. Mother and daughter, Demeter and Persephone. Okay. some new communication may be happening with some female members of your family. New communication, but again, keep it light, keep it positive, keep it bright. We have a full moon in Scorpio this month. Something transforming. I feel some of you might be helping a family member through a difficult period. Or maybe you're getting to the root of some family issue. It's quite an emotional full moon for you. Dealing with something maybe once and for all that's kind of coming up, that has always been sitting inside you, always been there. And it's a feeling like, I'm going to transform this, I'm going to speak up about this, or I'm going to, become this again. I don't know. I'm going to, okay, where's that going? Because that's a weird feeling. Something maybe that you are sorting out from your family and changing it. But the other thing that I felt, which was unusual, going back to who you used to be, or going back to a way that you used to enjoy being, maybe when you were younger. I used to love sports. I used to love being in my own private time. I used to love this, that, or other. It reminds me of my childhood, but it was a very nice part of my childhood. Maybe I need to kind of go back to that again, and this somehow transforms something positive. Now, I don't know where that's coming from, but it's like revisiting something very nice, or very, like that gave you a lot of comfort from your childhood, and maybe allowing that to come back out again. But there are definite changes going on. Now, before I get down to the cards, other things that might be going on, the full moon might throw up some worries over money or savings, which could end up being a big motivator for you, like a big catalyst for you to take control of your finances in a much better way. You could become quite ruthless and determined with how you're handling your money this month. And you could also be very triggered by somebody's out of control emotions around the time of the full moon. But again, what I'm saying, there's kind of trickiness and an emotional stuff happening. And I do still feel this thing, Aries, not to keep saying it over and over again, but there's a feeling of suddenly seeing how somebody had some level of emotional control over you. And I think this is going to be changing for you this month. You're just not having any of it, and you're speaking up and speaking out and getting clear in your mind. That's what's also happening here. Like there was a fogginess about a situation that you were quite triggered or emotional about, and suddenly it's clear. Now I know how to proceed. Now I know what to do. Now I know how to handle it. It's not foggy or unclear to me now. I have a path through this. So, okay, my love, let's go over to your big grand post-birthday birthday cards, to your, ta-da, your overview. So we did say at the very beginning of the month, there's this thing of sitting down in deep thought. Now for me, this deep thought is strongly connected with home issues, family issues, past issues that are somehow connected to the work that you're doing. It could be for some of you that you're exploring again this thing of, I was great at this as a kid. Say if it was a sport, I was really good at that sport. Now as an adult, maybe I'm not so fit, maybe I've missed the boat with that sport. However, couldn't I go back and teach it? Couldn't I go back and maybe use some of the skills or the training that I learned as a kid and incorporate that into my work? Like the mindset or the whole ethic around something, and bring that into the work that I'm doing. There is definitely something from the past that was very positive, that gave you some level of comfort or strength or grounding, and you're retrieving it and saying, I'm injecting my work with this. It gives it meaning, it gives it purpose. So again, it could be like going back and remembering what a parent said, or what a big brother or big sister said, or uncle, aunt or grandparent, and saying their advice always stood strong with me. That was always good advice. I have to kind of imagine that I'm listening to their good advice and bringing that somehow into the work that I do. Now, I know that sounds very unusual, but maybe you might see that. Maybe you might understand what that is. Now, excuse me, for some of you, again, there's that feeling of needing a bit of inner strength, inner strength in order for you to keep pushing through with the work that you're doing, because you're saying, I've tasks or duties or responsibilities or work situations in my life that it's on my shoulders, and I really need to draw a huge level of strength to keep moving with this. And you will. That's the unusual thing, Aries. I feel it's not that you're not physically strong enough, because you are. It's not that you can't keep up with things, because you can. It's more like, I need to go back and get rooted, get grounded, kind of, put my feet on the ground and get square here and say, what am I missing? What do I not have that could give me strength to keep going and doing what I'm doing with my work, with my responsibilities? I need to draw from a deeper well. So that's why I say you're maybe going back into your past and remembering something that gave you a great level of strength, like the love or affection you had from somebody as a child, or the encouragement or the motivation from an old coach or something, or as a teen or as a young adult, and the feeling of, I'm using that again to my benefit. In some cases, you could be touching base with old friends, perhaps this month. I feel you tidying up karma with some old friends this month too. It's kind of saying, it's done, it's over, I'm tidying karma with that. And that giving you more strength. But again, this thing of letting go of a lot of fears. Now, we come to this. This is a Neptune Pisces style card. Neptune is in Pisces at the moment in your 12th house. And Mars, your ruler, on May 13th is going in there. And this is the feeling of, again, what had been deeply upsetting you. A sense of family. Now, of course, maybe during quarantine and lockdown, many of you have been missing family. I know for everybody that's the same. Missing something, but it's like you're identifying what was missing. Missing home, missing family. Even if you're happy to be on your own, there's a feeling of, I'm missing some emotional grounding. And this is a hindrance to me. This is where I'm sabotaging something in my life. And with Mars going into Pisces, there's a real, very, very deep amount of work going in here from about the 13th onwards of May, of rooting out all the things that have been sabotaging you. For me, it's like emotional stuff. Asking yourself, why have I always been quite emotionally ungrounded? Now, it doesn't mean that you're emotionally unstable. I don't mean it like that. But you know what I mean? It's like something has to be underpinning a level of security in your life. Something has to be pinned down so that when rough weather comes or difficult times come, that there's always something that's pinning you down and giving you that level of comfort, nurturing, security, and a feeling like I can weather any storm. And that's why I think you're going backwards to root that up, because there's a feeling of, I used to have this. I was a really happy kid. Or I was really confident when I used to do this, that, or the other from my past. And that did give me a level of that rootedness to weather any storm. I'm going back to get that. I'm going back to get that. Maybe for some of you there was perhaps a family member that ungrounded you, but there's still stuff that you can go back, dig into and retrieve some level of grounding. Perhaps this person had strong water energy, sun, moon or ascendant in Cancer, Scorpio or Pisces, a feeling like they had knocked me off balance in some way, or they had made me doubt, or they had given me cause to doubt myself or something. They had given me cause to worry. But I'm going to revisit that. I'm going to get in and I'm going to figure out why this lack of emotional stability has actually ungrounded me, and even ungrounded some of the work that I do. You see, we forget that all corners of our little inner temple must be clean in order for the whole thing to function properly. So if we have, say, some past issues or family issues that aren't dealt with, they could actually spill out and start sabotaging other areas of our lives, like our relationships, our finances, our work, a purpose or a destination for our lives. It's like a drain that drips, drips, drips in one corner could actually end up flooding and drowning other corners of our lives. So you're going back to find the faucet, the leaky faucet that was certainly family related or past related, and you're going to fix it and repair it and saying, no more leaky energy from the past. I will not allow this anymore. I'm a fire sign. I don't swim great through water. Water dampens down my fire. So I have a lot of things that I need to purge. And I have a lot of my fire energy to kind of evaporate some of that old stagnant past muddy water. So that's what you're doing, and it is nice. Now, just to double back here, I see with this card, some of you could be having some really nice moments here. Now, I don't know in May, because I'm recording these quite early in April. I do get the feeling that some people might have more freedom in May. They might have a little bit more freedom. I could be wrong, but I sense that. And you could this month have some freedom to have some fun, maybe with one of the birthday people this month. It could be a Taurus birthday or a Gemini birthday, or it could be an event that you may perhaps be able to take part in. There might be a thing that children are doing, be it your own children, nieces, nephews, grandchildren, whoever it is. There is an event, something positive happened that seems to cheer you up. And you can join in, take part in, and it's nice. And even if it is from a distance, even if we all are still locked down, if it's like a remote, there's a feeling of, from a distance, a remote celebration. So you could be doing, having a video chat with somebody and it's their birthday and, singing happy birthday to them or doing something really sweet or nice from a distance, perhaps. Now, celebrating something. Maybe it's a post-birthday celebration. Celebrating, okay. Now we're coming mid-month, and we're coming, say, around the time of the full moon in Scorpio in your 8th house. This is happening on May 7th. There is definitely this feeling of, I'm not giving my fire to somebody who could be steering me wrong. I get the sense around the time of the full moon, there could be an opportunity, an option, a decision that needs to be made. Now, it could be related to your career, it could be related to money, it could be related to something that you're very, very passionate about, it could even be related to children. But there's something, it's like, will I, won't I? Maybe this is too much of a risk. Maybe I don't actually trust this. Maybe I have to dig a little bit deeper. I'm a fire sign. This is a fire card. Maybe I need to kind of find out more information on something before I take a risk. Maybe I need to know who I'm talking to before I start divulging personal information or key information. Maybe I should keep my mouth shut about a certain option that's out there that maybe other people would take advantage of because I didn't keep quiet. So there's a feeling of keep quiet here, Aries, and do a little bit more digging. Find out more information. Find out why somebody could be fishing for information from you. Somebody being very, very interested in the who, why, what, where, when about you. Who are you? Now, that you could say, but that could be nice. Somebody could be fishing for information to see if, they can employ me, harm me, or fall in love with me, or do something wonderful. In this case, it's a little bit different, Aries. In this case, for me, it's a negative. Somebody wants to know your magic. Somebody wants to know how you do what you do. Somebody wants to know why perhaps you're doing okay during a time of lockdown. Somebody wants to know how you're keeping it all together. There's something you're doing and somebody is saying, how are they doing that? Need to dig a little bit further. But again, I don't feel good intentions about that. Aries, I swear, if I could just keep saying the same thing to you, please keep your counsel. And if there's any wine, beer or liquor involved here or anything else, you know the phrase in vino veritas, when the drink goes in, the truth comes out. If somebody's maybe trying to get you drunk to kind of get you to say something, or feeding you a lot of flattery. Oh, Aries, you're wonderful, you're wonderful, you're wonderful, you're wonderful. And that might give you a level of comfort and you end up saying something. And the trickiest one of all, the quid pro quo person, the one who gives and expects you to give back. Sometimes you get this in your cards every so often, every couple of months this appears. Often it's related because you're a fire sign. Very often you generate jealousy. It does happen. But there's a feeling of somebody saying, I'm going to tell you lots and lots of unusual information about me, things that you'd be shocked to hear, real secrets. I'm going to share you some real deep secrets. And once they share it with you, then they sit there and they want the same back from you. These are dangerous people. These are quid pro quo people. These are, I will tell you the worst about me. Now it's your turn. You owe me. That is a very false person. And please do not do that. So again, just to double back here, Aries, also, if it's a decision that you have to make, work, money, finances, a decision on a subject, on a matter, make sure that you don't feel that you have to jump into something that you're not entirely sure of. Get more information. Okay? And also, don't let somebody sell you something this month. You know, we're all sitting at home, we're online, we're shopping, we have things being delivered to the door. Please make sure that the things that you buy online also are from reputable sources. Don't let anybody sell you on an idea. Very, very strong. And again, being in two minds about an investment perhaps that you're not sure about. Now, this is weird because the energy here for you is all about taking risks, maybe even at the start of the month, some financial risks. But what I'd like you to do first is probably recognize that you might not know what you're doing. And maybe it is a wiser thing rather than just dabble, roll the dice and hope for something wonderful to happen. It might be wise for you to get real professional advice here, Aries. It might be worth you sitting back, having a moment of clarity and saying, okay, what do I know? What don't I know? How do I balance this? How can I stay cool, calm, not kind of emotionally all fired up about something without diving into something that I will later regret. So that's quite strong. This theme is coming quite strong mid-month for you, Aries. This thing of diving into something that you might later regret. Conversations, decisions, opportunities. Unless you're prepared to sit back and first say, you know, what's going on here? What's the reality here? Where am I getting my grounding from so that I can actually make good decisions and see both sides of a situation where I don't get fooled or dragged down into something that I don't want to be involved in later down the road, okay? Because it's your destiny now, North Node of Destiny in Gemini in the 3rd house, to ask questions. What is this thing you want me to do? What is this thing you're offering me? What is this thing you're selling me? What is this investment? Tell me more. No, I still don't understand. I'm not embarrassed about that. Even though Venus is squaring off against Neptune, maybe being a bit worried that I might look like a fool or people might see me that I don't know what I'm talking about. It doesn't matter. I'm going to keep asking questions because that's how intelligence is. That's how we become informed, by asking questions. So the energy here is don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to do some deep research on a person or a subject if you're picking up weird vibes. You know, no jumping in. This is a month where it's all about the information and digging quite deep to know who and what you're dealing with. Now, Demeter meeting Persephone. the mother and the daughter. We're coming towards the end of the month, and there's a feeling of long delays, waiting a long time for something, waiting a long time for something to come back, somebody to come back to you with communication, waiting a long time to hear news from somebody, waiting a long time to kind of recover something that you thought was lost. It's like I'm waiting, tapping my fingers, waiting. Shouldn't this be here by now? Waiting for that delivery from something I bought ages ago. Why isn't it here? I need to ask questions. I need to write emails. I need to be demanding. Where is this? Where's this thing? Is it lost in the post? Is it lost in translation? Is it lost because I didn't understand what I was getting into? What have I been missing? And why do I have to wait? Yeah, towards the end of the month, it's like I'm waiting. For me, it's waiting to hear back on something, waiting to hear from somebody. But I trust your intuition. Again, Aries, this feeling of what I don't want you to do is like pour all your eggs into one basket, thinking that this is going to be great. I'm going to put everything, all my energy, all my time, all my love, all my investment, money, whatever it is, I'm going to put everything in here, and I'm just going to sit back and wait for the abundance to come. Now, I appreciate the confidence in that and the trust involved in that, but I think you'll be waiting a long time, Aries. I think there's something sneaky. I really dislike when energy like that starts creeping in to any reading, especially the Aries reading. But there's deception. I've got to say it, there's deception. So my strongest piece of advice for you is not all is what it seems this month, and don't be so naive and trust everybody at face value. Don't. Keep digging, keep going deeper and deeper and deeper. Even Mars, your ruler, is going into the 12th house and saying, no, we've got to go deep, Aries. We've got to really go deep. With Mars going into the 12th house, now this is very much, say, a 12th house card. It's a Pisces card. It's also a new moon card. This feeling of I'm happier when I completely lose communication with somebody. I'm happier when I don't have to speak to somebody. I'm happier when I don't have to deal with somebody. It could even be a family member. I'm much happier. I'm actually happier that I don't have to. I'm happier in quarantine because I don't have to see them. But there's something about, I actually feel my life works out better because I don't have to deal with somebody anymore. It doesn't necessarily have to be a family member. But it's also making me happier that I don't have to deal with something from my past perhaps anymore. Because now I'm getting that this was sabotaging so much of my abundance. Yeah, very important. My abundance has been sabotaged by stuff that I didn't clean up from the past. Now, on a kind of intellectual basis, I knew this. Like in my mind, I knew this. What's changing for me this month after the full moon in the 8th house is that not just knowing this, but now I'm feeling it. I'm connected to it. Now it has meaning. Now I actually know what I need to do to turn off that leaky faucet in my past that has been sabotaging so much of my bounty, my abundance, and my growth and happiness. Something is coming to an end and you're willing to celebrate it. I do strongly feel, Aries, what we've been talking about, this thing of turning off that leaky faucet from the past, and you're finally connected to it. It's not just on an intellectual level that you get it now, it's on a real emotional level, and you're sweeping out all the trash from the past, and you're happy about that. Very, very happy about that, because you feel freer now to talk about certain things, talking about your emotions, talking about what you're leaving behind. There's even a freedom towards the end of the month where you're feeling happier talking about your past. Maybe for some of you, when you look back on your past, it had been quite clouded by some things that were there, and it was all you could see. But now that that's gone, you're looking back maybe into your past and saying, you know, there were some brilliant things about my past and some really strong things that I want to bring back. And I'm going to talk about this and get excited about this and get connected to it again. And this, it's like it completes a karmic thing. I'm able to move into my future because something from my past has been concluded. I'm no longer seeing the negatives, and I'm actually seeing some of the most beautiful things that I had going on. And I'm getting huge strength from that. I am putting an anchor back into the positive things in my past, and I feel great because of it, and I can't stop talking about it. There's that feeling, and this is where it comes full cycle. This is where you get your foundation. This is where something feels like it's been completed. Aries, that's gorgeous. I really, really love that energy for you. Being able again to communicate freely and talk about happier things. And in general, you are an optimistic person. You're not somebody who dwells on the negative. But it's just, there's a sense of freedom I get, Aries, where it's like something continuous from the beginning till now. It's like I can identify that there was always good stuff running through my life. And that gives me some level of emotional grounding. And it's better than that because I've turned off that leaky faucet. I see so many new possibilities and potentials in my life to maybe, excuse me, move ahead with something new and something better. And to get into better relationships, to get into better projects, to be more creative again, to get stuck back into doing something I was absolutely passionate about again, learning again, and communicating again in a much freer way. Aries, I love that. I love it, I love it, I love it. And I'm going to leave it at that, my love. Now, you know these are just the general post-birthday cards. To get into the nitty-gritty areas, as always, you know where to come. You come to the VIMEO readings, the deep read, where we're going to be, like Mars, your ruler, dipping in deep this month and finding out exactly what the energies are for different sections of your life. What's going on in your relationships? The singles, what's going on in a time of lockdown and quarantine? Am I going to find love? Well, you're being very communicative this month. Maybe you might. You might even be finding love from the past again, Venus retrograding, or maybe some deep and spiritual love for some of you. Your money and career, maybe some changes going on there. Home, family and friends, some deep positive changes going on there, and other things that we don't talk about here in the general read. We'll go deep in the deep read. So my love, how do you get there? Open up the description box down below. You'll see a link to the deep read. Click into it. Come on over. I'll meet you over there. We'll get stuck in. And as always, my love, if we're going to leave it at that, if we're going to leave it here, then I'm going to leave you, as always, with all my post-birthday love. And, of course, a big belated birthday kiss from me to you, my gorgeous. Mwah. Until next month, my beauty. Bye.